What's going on, Chargers fans? Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and on today's episode, we're going to look at the inside look that ESPN gave us on the Los Angeles Chargers offseason. I'm telling you right now, this is a fun little exercise, although it kind of made me feel pretty good. When you're reading the worldwide leader in sports' article and you realize that a lot of the topics have been discussed on this channel a time or two, that makes me feel like we're pretty locked in here at Chargers Now. But I think that ESPN had some different spins on certain situations. And so, of course, I'm going to make sure that I get this to you on a wonderful summer time here in a summer weekend show. So first, let's look at the message that ESPN had when it came to the quarterback outlook. Now, ESPN went through all four teams in the AFC West and broke down four different questions and kind of gave you four different messages on your team. And I think the Chargers one, in my opinion, looks a lot better than the rest of the people's. But of course, this is why you subscribe to the channel. One, we're ahead of some of the big media members, and we're ahead of some of the big conglomerates that you typically get your news from because we focus on just the Chargers. But more importantly, we're going to make sure that we have content out for you every single day, and you don't want to miss it because you love talking NFL football. I'm telling you, it's right around the corner. So they talked about the quarterback outlook in the offseason, and we all know that Justin Herbert didn't throw nearly that much. And I told you here on the channel that was because Mike McDaniel wanted to work on some technique things for Justin Herbert. What I think is interesting here is what ESPN's Kris Rhim had to say on exactly what technique things McDaniel was looking at and how it's going to help Justin Herbert this next season. This shift is one McDaniel has coached in other stops such as the Miami Dolphins, Washington Commanders, and Atlanta Falcons. He believes the shift will get Herbert to speed up his throwing process and get the ball to receivers quicker to create more yards after the catch opportunities. Now, to me, this is a really good thing for the Los Angeles Chargers because when you look at a guy like Justin Herbert, it's not an issue of can he be successful in the league. We've already seen it. Look at his last 4 years, man. The guy throws the ball all over the yard, and that's in an offense that, frankly, wasn't that innovative, wasn't that good, and wasn't that impressive. Tua, someone who is half the quarterback that Justin Herbert is, it's actually kind of laughable now to realize that there was a legit conversation. Do you take Herbert? Do you take Tua? Obviously, it should have always been Herbert, and that might just be because I'm an Oregon football fan. I might be a little bit biased there. But back to the point at hand, if Justin Herbert was that good and McDaniel can help improve his footwork and get the ball out of his hand faster, it's only going to make him better. One, because he's getting the ball to his wide receivers quicker, so he's going to take less hits, so he's going to stay healthier longer. At the end of last year, it felt like that guy got into a car wreck every single game, and he looked it. At the end of the year, he was missing throws because he was worried about getting hit, so he was getting the ball out of his hands too quickly. He was trying to do too much with the football, so he put the ball in harm's way more often than not. It just honestly wasn't all that great for Herbert at the end, and a lot of it had nothing to do with him. Well, if he's getting the ball out quicker now, he's going to get more yards. He's going to stay healthier, so he'll be able to throw the football further as the year continues to progress. He's going to stay healthier, stay stronger. And McDaniel is putting him in a position right now where he's probably going to fix certain accuracy issues, which isn't that big of a deal with Herbert to begin with, but he's going to help him fix those things so that way he's at the top of his class. And I think that's a gigantic thing. What was the Chargers' biggest move and best move this offseason? You let me know down below in our comment section what your opinion is there. It can be a signing of a player. It could be a move that they didn't make. It could be the Chargers letting a free agent go. It could be a coach that they ended up signing. Let me know what your opinion is in our comment section because the next thing that we are going to talk about is what ESPN thought the best move for the Los Angeles Chargers was. And frankly, it took me like 2 seconds to figure out what they were going to say. Like sometimes you just kind of have to put your hand over it, like, best offseason move, let me think. It's this. And that's, of course, where ESPN went. But I did like their breakdown on it. And you're going to have to stick around because we're going to talk about it in 1 sec. But first, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With the baseball season in full swing, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app is really easy to use. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including hits, home runs, strikeouts, and several others across all sports. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature, where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app, at BigWill7774, to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Kenyon Sadiq, more on his receiving TDs. Jackson Smith and Jigba, more on his receiving TDs. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. Obviously, ESPN said that the best move that the Chargers made over the offseason was hiring one offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel. Now, this makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you know here how highly we think of McDaniel. He's someone that is innovative in the National Football League. He's constantly thinking about where the next progression is. He's someone that is ahead of the game. Right now, we talked about him using a lot of 12 personnel to disguise what plays he's going to call, what plays he's going to run. He sets up his formations in a way that teams can't figure out what they're going to be doing because the Chargers do not tip their hand like a lot of other teams in the NFL, a lot of other teams in football in general. I think he's going to start using a lot of 13 personnel, just like Sean McVay. He's asked for, and the Chargers have brought in a lot more tight ends and fullbacks to be able to run the different personnel groupings that McDaniel wants. Right now in the NFL, no one wants to get beat deep because that's what the Kansas City Chiefs lived off of in the early 2020s and the late 2010s. Guess what? You can't do that anymore because every team's got too high. So then what are teams doing? Well, they're going to 12 and 13 personnel so they can use those special athletes that tight ends are. I couldn't agree more in my opinion, man. Look, there are some really good players that the Chargers brought in. I love that Tony Jefferson ended up re-signing with the Chargers. I love that Khalil Mack was brought back with the Chargers. I really like defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary and the fact that he's going to be coaching the Los Angeles Chargers. I love that David Njoku is a Charger. Akeem Mesidor, that's a great draft pick. A lot of great moves. But right here, right now, you had to get that offense into the 21st century. You had to pair Justin Herbert with someone that could really show off his strengths. That's Mike McDaniel. And that's why this Chargers team is getting better. Next, we're going to look at the rookie to watch when it comes to what ESPN says the Chargers are doing this offseason, and it's pretty obvious, man. Nadame Tucker absolutely exploded onto the scene. Great UDFA signing for this team. He's certainly a hidden gem. When you look at his season over at Western Michigan, I mean, the guy absolutely balled out, had a coming out party. He's been freaking elite since joining this Los Angeles Chargers team. The way that a lot of these guys are talking about him, you would think that Tucker was someone that the Chargers drafted in the second, third, or fourth round. He's been that impressive. I felt like every time I got an update from minicamp, there was another sack, there was another tackle, there was another turnover that was forced. And this certainly feels like, with Tucker, a guy that is really coming into his own. You're going to see a real position battle between him and Bud Dupree for kind of that fourth edge rusher with this team. Thule, Khalil Mack, Akeem Mesidor, that's your 1, 2, 3. Who's going to be that fourth guy? I think it's a real possibility that we're talking about Nadame Tucker taking over that role. He's that elite, he's that impressive, and he's been playing with his hair on fire. And that's awesome for the Los Angeles Chargers, and it's awesome for defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary. Will Nadame Tucker make the Chargers' final 53-man roster? You let me know down below in our comment section. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think for me personally, I'm spamming that Y. I've made it pretty clear I think he makes this team. I don't want to say easily, because if you're a UDFA, you don't easily make any teams, but I certainly think he makes this team. Let's lastly talk about the biggest question mark, because ESPN, well, they pointed out the painfully obvious when it comes to this Chargers team. The offensive line is going to have a gigantic question mark around it, and that's largely based on the play of last year. Now, obviously, with the high draft pick of one Jake Slaughter, everyone assumes that the rookie from Florida is going to be the starting left guard. But right now, I'm not going to be the first one to tell you that he's been anything but. Coyote Oshika, he's certainly someone that has been very impressive this offseason for the Los Angeles Chargers. He's been the one who's largely been getting those 1 reps with the left guard position and with the ones. It is important to mention, though, that Jim Harbaugh has made it clear no one has earned a spot yet. You earn your spot when pads get put on during training camp. But it certainly feels like it's Oshika's to lose right now. And in my opinion, he might just run away and hide with it. He's done a lot of really good work. Chargers are very happy with him. And ESPN, they broke down 4 stories. They did a good job with it, of course. But I would say that we do an excellent job here on Chargers Now as well. And that, of course, is why you subscribe to our channel. Don't miss any of the news that we've got going on every single day. We bring a bunch of content to you on a variety of different topics you don't want to miss. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Go tell someone that you love them and bolt up.